Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel, and this is one of those videos I do very rarely, but this is kind of a hangout. This is just a nice little update for all of you who just are so kind to support me, and those of you who kind of care about what's going on. So this is kind of, a hybrid of little personal updates, the status of the channel right now, the future of the channel, things that are coming. And I'm also going to give an update on the multilingual book club, which a lot of you have been writing in and asking about and all kinds of stuff. So that's what we have. Let's hang out. I unfortunately just have water today because it's way too late for me having coffee. I don't have any tea prepared, and I'm just too excited right now about doing this. So I've got water, but you should get, whatever feels right, whether it's coffee, whiskey, tea, wine, orange juice, fresh squeezed, or whatever, out of the cart, whatever feels good. Let's just do that. Come back here, join me, and let's talk about what's going on, because I'm really excited. Okay, so this video actually was inspired by something I just finished doing, which is writing my weekly language learning diary entry over on Patreon. On Patreon, I do a whole bunch of stuff. We have a whole bunch of different perks and things and different value that I try to give to people who support me there. But I think, honestly, my favorite thing is the weekly language learning diary. Sometimes it's a video, sometimes it is a post. And I've been just doing this every single week, and I share all kinds of more personal things, just a lot of behind the scenes, things that are going on in my life. It's primarily focused on what's happening with my language learning every week, but it just ended up being much more of just a diary. And it's really fun because if people comment, and it feels like we're like a little family and kind of going through all this stuff together. So I just wrote one today, and I really, really enjoyed it. It's super positive, super full of energy and excitement. So I kind of wanted to share it with everybody. So I have made that particular post public so that anybody can view it, even if you're not a Patreon supporter. So I'm going to leave a link to that in the description of this video in case you want to go read it. It was super fun. But basically, I now want to kind of make a video version of it just to kind of, let's talk about a bunch of stuff that's going on, because I'm in a really good place right now. And I know that a lot of you have been kind of concerned and worried because when I first came back to the UK, I was in a really bad place, really struggling, and I made a video, I felt like I had let all of you down, and that was basically on the back of some just really, really hard stuff that was happening in my personal life. I went through a few months of really unfortunate things that I think were probably a little bit unfair, and things that were basically that made me feel just terrible about myself, and I had just not been enough, not been good enough, not been helpful enough. I don't know. I just felt like I had let everybody down. I was really worried because I'd just gone full time on all these projects and trying to do stuff for everybody. And so not a nice time to be feeling like I had let everyone down when essentially it was just crazy. So these last few months being back in the UK, they've been challenging, especially in the beginning, just because, I've been just working like a crazy person. Just like every minute has been either directly or indirectly related to just trying to get on top of everything. YouTube videos, Journaly work, just everything basically surrounding all those things. You wouldn't believe how many hours, and I'm in a great place now. But certainly for the first few months, it just felt like every day, every minute, it was like, oh my God, there's 5 things that really needed to be done yesterday or last week or last month. And they have to be done today, but there's no way I'll get them done today. And it was just crazy. So I've been slowly getting on top of everything. Videos have been ramping back up. Journaly Premium came out. We now have 2 features there. We built loads of new free stuff over there. And today is the first time, literally, since I can remember. In my life, in my adult life, and maybe even a bit before that. Today's the first day I feel on top. I got up today, and I'm like, yeah, I got loads of stuff to do, loads of stuff I want to do today, loads of things I'm excited about doing today. But I'm like, I feel like I can choose what is most important today and in what order I prioritize those things. And I don't know, it doesn't feel like anything was desperately, urgently, absolutely supposed to be done yesterday and didn't get done. It doesn't feel like anything absolutely desperately needs to get done today, or I'm gonna, everything's gonna fall apart and explode. Like, I feel on top, and it's amazing. So that's just really, really exciting. It's taken a lot of time to get here. Language learning, there's so much exciting things happening as well that I want to give you a quick update on. And then I also want to touch a bit on the just sort of creative side, the YouTube side, things that are coming, and then, like I said, the book club. So with language learning, I just feel in a really good place right now where, my Spanish, I feel really happy with, right? Many of you will know that over the last 6 to 8, maybe even 10 months, I brought back in Spanish, I brought back in German, and so I've done a lot of content in Mandarin, Chinese, Spanish, and German, either in those languages or certainly about my experience with those languages, or I'll just use what's happening in those languages to sort of give examples and illustrate broader points about language learning. And so, I have a lot of other languages, and one of my big goals this year is to really, really, truly strive. I say strive, it's an important word, but strive to finally get back to a place where I haven't been since 2016. Because 2016, the very end of 2016, that's when I started writing my first book. And then that took over my life for a couple of years. And then I transitioned straight into Journaly, building Journaly, YouTube. It's been years since I really have spent much time at all on my own language learning, to be honest. So I want to get back to a place where all my languages are sharp, where all of them are in a place that I'm happy with, that I feel proud of, right? I hate that feeling of, when you're like, okay, I got 1 or 2 languages in a pretty good place. My other 5, I'm kind of ashamed, at where they are today, right? I don't want that anymore, right? And I used to be so good at not being like that. I was so good at, having these really simple but yet intricate and balanced systems and techniques and methods for keeping things sharp concurrently, right? And I wrote a book about that. Ironically, through writing the book and through doing all the other things, I just couldn't do it anymore. And so with that all being said, I can't do that by just saying I'm going to study every language every day or every week. Right? It's just there aren't enough hours in the day. I am still doing YouTube, which could be a full-time job for me, and I am doing Journaly, which could also be a full-time job for me, right? So I still have to think of a sophisticated way to do this, right? And so that's going to involve, weaving things in and out. So with Spanish, I'm genuinely happy with where Spanish is right now. I'm really happy. I think I've certainly gotten it back to the best it's ever been for me. Maybe even slightly better than ever. I'm just very happy with where it is right now. I still want to improve. I still have a lot of things to learn and to keep getting better, but it feels sharp. I'm happy. And so I think it's time for me to phase that out of my active study, right? To make room for something else. So I'm going to be stopping my sort of active study of Spanish. I can still make content in Spanish. I can still do interviews in Spanish. In fact, I have a few coming up on this channel very, very soon, because now the language is sharp, right? When the language is sharp, I can just turn it on whenever I want and make a video. So I can still make content in Spanish. It's just that it won't be an active language. The other thing is, well, there's another language I'm going to be learning as well, that I'll leave that as a kind of a little secret in the Patreon post. So if you want to go read it, you can go read it and you'll find out. But there's another language that I'm going to be bringing back that is very, very exciting, very meaningful, and I would say very sentimental to me. And it's going to be a really exciting, again, it's going to be a really deep, sentimental thing to go through and share on this channel. That language means so much to me. So if you want to know what it is, go read the Patreon post, because otherwise this video will just get too long. But you'll find out soon enough if you want to just hang out on YouTube. But so Spanish is kind of coming out. Italian is coming in, along with this other language that I mentioned. Mandarin Chinese is in such an exciting place. It's just flying, right? I really think that we're going to see my fluency just really take off this year, between now and the rest of the year with Mandarin Chinese. I can't wait to see what's going to happen there. And then German is in a place where I got it back to, honestly, I think I got my German better than it's ever been. Back when I was doing like the interviews on Easy German, I went on El Jardín de Martín, and when his channel did a thing in German and Spanish, and but it just kind of fell off. And as much as I want to get back on it, right now, I am like, it feels right to be on my Mandarin, Chinese, Italian, and that third language that's coming back in. And that's already 3 languages, right? So I want to be thoughtful and careful about not overloading myself. And I think it's important in life, and especially with language learning, especially if you're a language enthusiast and you study several languages, it's important to embrace and follow the rhythm of life, like the natural rhythm of life. And like, if you have any hobby, anything you're learning, especially a language, like if it just feels right now, especially for me with languages like Italian and this other one that I've been waiting so patiently for years, and I just haven't had the right moment. I've always known it's just not the right time yet. It is now. This is the right time. And I think that, like I said, in language learning, but also in life, I just think you have to be flexible, right? Obviously, there are exceptions, and if you have obligations and things, either for your family or professionally, that's different. But in terms of these things that we're choosing to do because we love them, and when you have, too many things that you could do every single day, well, I think you got to really be flexible to a point and not force things. And so that's what I'm going to do. So German, I'm going to kind of like put on the side for the time being. It's going to come back. I'm not worried about it, right? So that's where I'm at with languages. And so 2 more things. Second and last thing is just the channel. Like, I have to tell you, I'm so excited. Like, many of you will know, I think a lot of you probably don't know this, but I was actually deeply, deeply, deeply passionate about filmmaking a long time before I ever knew I would have a YouTube channel about language learning. In fact, when I first began this channel, which was a long time ago, my first video on this channel, they're all private right now. It was like 2009 or 2010, 11 years ago, right? So way back then, and you'll notice like the oldest video that's currently on my channel public is my sort of short documentary piece about my life in Japan and my search for home, which was like, at that time, that was 7 years ago, I wanted to make short documentaries on this channel. Like, I didn't even know at that time this would become a language learning channel. So on one hand, I do think like, yeah, I get a lot of emails and comments, and like a lot of the feedback I've had over the years is that, yeah, like produce good quality videos, especially for perhaps the language learning scene or like typical just sort of talking head, But none of the stuff I've made has really truly been creatively fulfilling for me. And for years I've been dying, and I mean dying, to make stuff that is just on a completely different level to what you've seen on my channel. And I'm talking like, if you think about YouTubers that you may know in different fields, different industries, different niches, YouTubers that are like, they're known for having a filmmaking background, where the stuff that they make, they bring that skill set, that rich experience to their YouTube content, and the stuff they make is just a different level, where you're just like, this is just so good. Like, it's so beautifully made. It could be short documentary style. It could be more cinematic stuff. It could be anything, but like the people that you know of, right, that are just, it's such an asset that they bring to the table, right? And that's what I want to be doing. Like, I want to be making both short documentary style content. I've done some of that in the past, but I want to do more of it. But also even literal short documentary films on this channel related to language learning stuff, right? I want to do a lot more storytelling. I want to do more science-based videos like the ones I did about sleep, right? I want to do more of the book reviews where I do these amazing like book reviews on like best-selling books that are not about language learning, but then pulling out all the best learnings and giving them to you for language learning, like, and just general, like, oh, my shot composition, my lighting, the way, like the variety of shots, everything. I want to finally do the work I've been dying to do basically for like 15 years since I first picked up a camera. And I just feel like I've never been able to fully fulfill that desire. And that's happening. That's going to be happening now. This last week, as I finally got on top of things, finally for the first time, just feeling that pressure start to relieve. I still feel a lot of pressure, especially financially, because I got, it's scary, right, doing this full time. And I have some like big expense. This has been very expensive coming back to the UK. And there's some scary stuff coming up in a few months with my flat and things like that. But aside from that, like that is definitely stressful and it is a lot of pressure for the next few months. But other than that, like all the other pressure and stress I've been feeling, it's finally lifting. And I think that has left space for these sparks have just caught fire. And so this last week, I've just been like, it's insane. I actually didn't do a lot of language learning this last few days because I've been so inspired and so excited just thinking about, like, I have now become a student of the craft again, the craft of filmmaking, storytelling, documentary stuff, like photography. All right, I'm doing stuff on Instagram again. I'm actually posting like legitimate posts on Instagram that are higher quality, and I'm going to be going out and I've spent so much time this weekend like studying photography, studying filmmaking, and it's exciting. I'm sorry this is not super language learning substantive, but please know the best work I've done in my life is coming this year, and I'm hoping it's just going to get better and better and better over the coming years. So lots of really exciting stuff. Finally, the Multilingual Book Club. This could be a long story, so I'll try to keep it short. But I just want you all to know that, most things I do on this channel, I try to be very deliberate and thoughtful and careful about the timing of things. And when I started the Multilingual Book Club, which I was so excited about, but most of all, I was excited about how excited you all were. Like the response was incredible and the participation was incredible, right? I started that book club at a moment when I knew it was the right time. I knew I had enough time that I could make during my day, despite being insanely busy, and it was insane. But I knew I could do it. I could make enough time for this, and I could finish the book before leaving the US. I had enough time. I did it very carefully for that reason. So I could finish the book while being in the US, and then come back, take a break while I'm doing all this other stuff, transitioning, getting set up again. And then we'd continue with another book, right? I mean, literally within days of starting the book club is when all that really horrible, difficult, unfortunate stuff started happening in my personal life. And it just destroyed everything. Not just the book club. I mean, everything from Journaly, YouTube. I wasn't making anywhere near as many videos during that period. It was absolutely horrible, like transitioning back to the UK while going through all this stuff. Again, feeling like I was letting everybody down, feeling like I was a personal failure and some other things in my personal life. It was just horrible. And I'm sorry. Unfortunately, I tried. I did read some of the book. I posted my notes on Patreon as I promised. I tried to do a few update videos. I tried so hard. But these things happened in my life and I couldn't, I haven't been able to participate as much as I wanted, and I haven't been able to finish the book. Now, at the end of the day, the thing is that I did this for all of you, right? I didn't start the book club for me, right? The whole point was to try to inspire, motivate, and help as many people as I could out there to all help each other and participate with each other to read a book, right? To either a chapter or half or even a whole entire book that they may not have read otherwise, that they may not have been able to finish otherwise without that support network, without just that push, right? And that's most important. And the fact is, a whole bunch of you did it. A whole bunch of you are still doing it. Oh my God, we've had like literally hundreds and hundreds of posts on Journaly about the book club in so many languages, Instagram posts. I feel like I did let you guys down on that a little bit, right? For sure. Because I wanted to be participating. I wanted to be pushing everybody forward. I wanted to be making more videos, doing some live streams, right? So I'm not trying to distract from that. But I do want you to know, because I've had a lot of emails, some people really polite and understanding, some people less polite, basically saying, I've just abandoned it and I'm just living my new life, having a great time, and I just don't even care about everybody. A lot of people in between. I think most people have been a lot more polite. But it has been hard for me, and so I wanted to address it, and I wanted to say, let's like comment down below, right? How has it been going? Like, what was your experience like? What has it been like? How many people finished the book? How many people started it and decided to stop? How many of you are still reading it? How was it? Like, please, like, let's talk about it in the comments of this video, right? The point is, like, I don't want to hold everybody up now, right? Unfortunately, like, that time has kind of passed for me, and I've been like, it's the one thing left that has been really stressing me out, because I've been feeling like I have to get back to that. I got to finish it. But I would be doing that purely out of guilt. That would be the only reason to do it at this moment, right? And I already let YouTube dictate most things I do with language learning, right? Like my second Chinese conversation with Joyce, which, by the way, I've been spending hours and hours and hours subtitling it. It's really hard for me because it's in Chinese. I'm almost done. That's coming out soon. But like that conversation, I could have had it 6 months earlier, right? The only reason I waited 6 months was because I wanted to document it for the channel, and it's a lot of work, and I was not in a position during those 6 months where I would be able to document it properly. So I literally, you know, I held my Chinese back, and I do that all the time, right? So like, I already let my content and the things I want to do on YouTube to hopefully help people, like I let that dictate a lot of my language learning and pretty much other things. So I think I do have to kind of try to start balancing that a bit more. And I think in the case of the book club, if I, like, again, I've got to a place now where I think it's time to put Spanish to the side a little bit and bring in these other languages that I'm so excited about. So yeah, I think that, I think this was a good experience still. A lot of you read the book or read part of the book or wrote a post on Journaly. Like, a lot of you still did stuff. A lot of you still had discussions, all kinds of things, right? Like, I don't think this was a waste. I hope it's been helpful. I wrote my notes on Patreon, and that was kind of cool for some people that are on my Patreon group. Like, I think let's see how we can go forward, right? I still love that project. I'm still planning on continuing it. Let's read more books together. Let's keep doing this, right? In the future, I might build a website, like a simple website where we can kind of register what book, like what language you're reading it in, what's your goal. Like even on Journaly, we're actually going to be building something called user groups in the future, so you guys can create your own groups on Journaly. So you could actually do like a German group for the book that we're reading next, and a French group or whatever, or just a big group, right? I'll be like continuing to support this project, and let's keep doing it together. But I think it's like I said, it's the last thing that's been really stressing me out. And I think rather than forcing myself to try to do it because I feel guilty, which I do feel really guilty, but I'm thinking maybe the best thing is like, let's talk about it, right? Like, how did it go? How do you all feel about it, right? What could be improved next time, right? How was the format, right? Let's talk about it, and let's turn this into something positive, something productive, and let's use that to continue doing this, but do it better next time. And I'm going to be in a much better place in life to, like, let's do this really right next time. So that's what I have for you today. Thank you all so much for watching. It's a bit long, but I just felt like I wanted to give you guys an update. I wanted to hang out, and there's just a lot of cool stuff coming. So thank you all. Sending big hugs to all of you. Unless you're not a hug person, then I'm not sending a hug to you out of respect. But for everybody else, sending big hugs, good vibes, and I'll see you back here soon for a normal video.